that's a really good question, because that's one thing we aren't blessed with. We need to work on. I've got my eye on 3 players that we really need to work on to fulfil that role. And again, as I've said, over the next while in our preparation phase, leading into the England tour and through the England tour, because in essence the England tour is going to be a training camp for us. And we're going to working back everything. All our programs work back now from May 31, which is the first day of first game at the World Cup. And in that time, we have to get our 3 guys that I've got an eye on up to speed in that regard.
Okay, thank you.
Look for anyone from outside or something.
Yes, it got better and better as the series went on. I think, as I said, I think I said in one of the press conferences I did, maybe just before Abu Dhabi, that he needs to challenge both edges. In fact, both our spinners at that time needed to challenge both edges, and he did that by showing his googly earlier after we had our chat. So the minute he shows his googly earlier, he becomes a different kettle of fish, and that was so important for him. Just like Imad Wasim, who then showed that he was a genuine spinner, that created the doubt, and he started challenging both edges. So I think he got better and better as the series progressed.
Last question.
Yes. You guys,
we're pretty lucky in that question. We had an 18-year-old a year ago in Shaheen afridi. So Shaheen and him will take the same path, just a year apart from each other. And I'm really excited about Mohamed Hassan. There's a lot of work to do with him. A hell of a lot of work to do. He needs to get fitter, without a doubt. But he's never been in any program before. He's got to work on his fielding, without a doubt. But raw pace, raw talent, he has in abundance, and that's pretty exciting. He's got everything, and it's he is going to be very, very exciting.
Is this 2002?
No. We've got to do what we can do, Shaheen, and all we can do is prepare ourselves as best we can. Had we played our full side and the other 7, if they played and they had fatigue, we go to England now. It came down to us having to either rest them for this series or rest them for the PSL. That's where we were with our players.
Not against Zimbabwe in July 2018.
That wouldn't have made any difference. Because we got on the road in September the 12th, Asia Cup. We went all the way through to South Africa with 4 days break. We then finished the South African series, flew straight from the South African series to the PSL. Finished the PSL, and 2 days later came here. So there was no gap to rest those players. Whether we rested them for Zimbabwe would have made no difference at all, because that wasn't in the last 5 months of cricket that we've had. I definitely think they're travelling really well. I think there's all the sort of the final jigsaw sort of parts are all coming together nicely there for Justin. I think Australia look a very, very good side. A very good side. They will be a threat at the World Cup, no doubt. You get Warner and Smith back, you put Stark back into that lineup and Cummins back, and it's pretty formidable. As I've always said, I think there's up to 7 teams that can win the World Cup, and that's going to make the World Cup so intriguing and such a good cricket spectacle.